September 19th, 2022. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 266 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, welcome back to
Thank
sunny
you.
Southern California.
Yeah, my bi-monthly visit.
Right. What are you out here for this time?
Well, our oldest daughter is starting at UCSD, so we moved her in.
Good.
And our youngest daughter took her driver's test.
Oh, good.
Which she passed. So that's basically in to check on my folks.
Good.
And of course, to go to the casinos with you and our good friend Paul.
Yeah. Now, I understand on Thursday,
Yes.
when your daughter was first moving in,
Yeah.
that you were going to help, but there was like a limit on the helpers?
only two helpers, her and two helpers.
Okay.
So, of course, I volunteered not to help.
Right.
And-
well, for health reasons, obviously.
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah, she's on the fourth floor. There's no elevator.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
seriously. it would've
seriously, I couldn't have done
been pretty
it.
hard for you.
Yeah, I couldn't have carried stuff up.
That's good. Were you able to find something else to do while they were
I
moving in
searched and searched, and then I just, on my own, went out to Harrah's.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Harrah,
yeah.
Southern California
Yeah.
gambling. Yeah.
Yeah, won.
That went. Oh, you won. Good.
Won.
Okay. And of course, you and I went last night and had a pretty good session. It's one of
Yeah.
those rare times where I lose. I lost a little bit.
Yeah,
but
not much.
You had a
Yeah.
big win.
I had a big win because of the all tall, all small hitting twice.
Twice the all hit.
Yeah, twice.
And it's so funny because when we were there, we ran into listener John. It was nice to
Right.
meet John.
Yeah.
We were sitting there and, he said something like, I think I recognize some podcast voices. And
Yeah.
you just said, no.
Yeah. I turned and said, what? I don't know.
But John, it was great playing with you. He asked, well, how often does the all come up?
Right.
And we said, well, I don't know, once every 3 trips out here, something
Three or
like
four
that.
trips,
you
yeah.
know?
You get a half of it a lot.
Right, that comes up
And,
almost
and on
every
Thursday,
trip,
I
right?
got 3 halves, and that's why I won.
Right. But 2 on one night. I mean, that was the difference
Yeah.
in your night. And,
Yeah.
I don't bet that, so.
Right. So you
I
didn't,
was just
you didn't
relying-
partake in that. Yeah. I made a ton of bets for you, Mark, during the night. I would just give Mark $15. Put 5 on each of them.
Yeah, 5,
Just,
5, 5,
Here's
yeah.
free $15. Every time I did it, you didn't even get close.
Nothing close.
And we hit it twice when you weren't there.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting because as good as the rolls were,
Right.
you were never close to hitting the fire bet. Not
No,
at all.
No. Real early, I made 2 points, and I was on a third, but then immediately 7'd out. That was the closest we got.
Yeah. People just weren't making points.
Well, the first all tall small that we hit, he only made 1 point. A
Right,
4.
that was it the
Yeah.
whole time.
Right.
And it was a great roll. I made
That was
money,
a monster
on other
roll.
numbers.
Yeah,
it wasn't just the all.
He rolled
right?
a
was
ton
up
of
with
6s and 8s
Yeah.
and
4s
4s and 10s.
4s and 10s all
kept
night
coming
long,
up
that's right.
all night. 4s and 10s. There was one roll where I believe I was rolling, and they rolled like 3 4s and 3 10s, and then 7'd out. And poor John was on 6 and 8.
That's all he ever said.
And you and I cleaned up because
it was just 4s and 10s.
4s
Yep.
and 10s.
Yep.
And also, then I kind of gave John some poor advice about betting on Oklahoma today.
I think
Or
Nebraska,
betting against,
right?
Betting against Oklahoma.
Yeah, you were, Nebraska plus 11 points. You were saying, boy, those are a lot of points.
11 points because they play pretty tight games traditionally.
Uh-huh.
And then he has a big blowout.
You were going on about how, well, the last 10 seasons when these two teams have met, it's like, this is college football. The teams are completely different.
The last 4 matchups were like under 3 points. So I thought, they're going to hang in there. And to be honest, Oklahoma looked terrible last week.
Well, all right.
This week they look like Oklahoma, from
all right,
a
so
few
you're
years ago.
apologizing to
No,
John
I'm not
and-
apologizing.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Okay.
He should know better than to listen from advice from me.
That's true.
I mean, everyone in this room knows that's foolish.
That's absolutely true. Well, so we had a good time. You're going to be taking off here again soon, but
Tomorrow
I'm glad
morning,
you're
yeah.
able to be doing another live podcast here,
Yeah.
in-person podcast. So, gosh, this is the first podcast that we're recording since we had our big poker tournament.
Correct.
And as usual, I think it was a pretty good success.
Yes.
You and I didn't go very far in this one.
Did you make it halfway?
Yeah, I made it halfway. I think. Did you?
I think I was very close.
I didn't even write down where we ended up.
Yeah,
It wasn't as if-
I think I was over half, but
Okay.
just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You survived all the people who didn't show.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Okay,
I took them all out. I should get something for taking out people who didn't play.
Yeah. So first place went to Tired Dad 34. He got a $100 Amazon gift card. Second place went to Sly 956 YCBOT.
Yeah.
YCBOT. You can bet on that. He got a $50 card, and he came in second place in our very first tournament.
Right.
So this is the second time for him placing in the money.
Yeah, he's banned.
I thought he was going to win. He had such a big lead.
Yeah, he had a huge lead.
And then the final table went very quickly, or at least the last three went very quickly there. And then third place, our friend Judge Dave. Dave 777 on Poker Stars. He came in third place for a $25 gift card.
Nice.
Yeah. You were taken out by player John Way 60, and I was taken out by Tex Clone. So those two also got $25 Amazon gift cards.
Nice.
Now, listener Richard, who has done this in the past, made a $100 donation to the charity of the winner's choice.
Right.
And Tired Dad 34 chose Autism Speaks.
I love it.
A very good cause.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
That's great.
That's my job now.
That's right. Because you were talking about how you love these kids that you've been driving around.
I drive autistic kids around.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Mike, on our drive to the casino, Mike was just going on and on about how he loves this new job. That's great.
Yeah, and they're fun.
Yeah.
And funny.
Yeah.
And they think I'm goofy. I don't know where they get that from.
Yeah.
So it all works out.
That's great. You just got to grow that beard again, and they're just going to think you're Santa Claus,
right.
and that's going to be the the whole thing.
I'm a little too heavy for Santa Claus, but
That's true. We also want to say, and this is pretty special. So Tired Dad 34, he won the $100 Amazon gift card, but he chose to donate it to Tim Lawson of The Better Life, because he's a fan of Tim's show as well. And Tim and his wife are expecting a baby girl here next month, October, my birthday month.
Yeah.
Ooh,
she'll probably be born on your birthday. Then we'll have questions.
So that's great. Thank you very much, Tired Dad. And then Tex Clone, who took me out, asked if he could just donate his card back to our show.
Right.
So thank you very much for that donation. He just said he loves the show.
Great. I mean, evidently, they just can't afford to win that much.
That's true. That's our slogan. They just can't afford to win that much.
They just can't afford it.
Yeah. One interesting thing, I believe this was at the final table, Mike. We actually had somebody make a royal flush. As far as I know, it's the first time it's ever happened in our tournament. Wasn't it the final table?
Yeah, it was the final table. Yeah, royal flush.
We were both watching it. So the Senators 0614 made a royal flush. The flop was King, Queen, Jack of Diamonds. So the potential was definitely out there.
Right.
The turn was a blank, and then the river was the 10 of diamonds.
Right.
And the senator had ace of diamonds in his hand. So
it's nice that he had the ace, too.
Yeah. So he's just looking for the nut flush draw.
Right.
He ended up making the royal flush. It's the kind of hand that probably would not have qualified for any kind of jackpot at a poker room because he was only using one of his two down cards. And usually
you need
when
two
they're
of
bad
them.
beat jackpots or any kind, the two in your hand have to play as well. So.
Right.
But we finally got a royal flush.
Yeah, I think he wanted a gift card because...
Well, I think Adam Bauer on our very first tournament said, hey, if anybody makes a royal flush, I'll give him a gift card.
Right.
Which was, like, oh, thanks a lot, Adam. How often do people make royal flushes? So he didn't have to give anything away.
Yeah.
On this one, he didn't say anything.
Where is he now?
Where is he now?
He was in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he tweeted a lot. It sounds like he had a pretty good trip. Well, on the last couple of episodes, we've been talking about gambling superstitions, and particularly positive superstitions, because it seems like there are a lot of negative superstitions. Caller Jack was mentioning that.
Well, just the word superstition usually connotates a negative feeling,
That's
right?
true, yeah.
I mean, I think that's where my mind goes first, right?
But, there are things that people do superstitiously to try to keep things like baseball players.
Right.
Oh, I never shave before.
Right. I wear the same socks.
They're thinking that's positive, right? If they break that pattern, that's their superstition.
And now,
go badly.
recently, it's become like a team thing too. Like we have this whatever, we bang this or we do this as a team, and that brings us good luck.
Yeah. Well, we got an email from Nick the Greek with a bunch of what he thought were positive superstitions. And some of these were so obvious, it's like, why didn't we actually discuss these? But I'm glad he wrote in so we can talk about
so
them
Mike
right
the
now.
Greek can critique Nick
that's
the
right.
Greek.
Mike the exactly. All right, so number one, the virgin shooter, especially if it happens to be a female. Sorry, not trying to be sexist, but that definitely is a superstition.
Right.
So,
lady shooter who's never done it before.
I'm sure I don't have to elaborate on this one. Yeah, that's true. You'll see a lot of seasoned players at the table. Oh, you got to shoot. Oh, you've never shot. Oh, yeah. Don't.
Right.
And the person's usually, oh, no, I don't want to. No, you have to. Number two, calling for same dice when they go off the table. You don't call for the same dice because you expect a 7 out.
Right.
Yeah, that's the supposed positive superstition, but it's based on a negative superstition that if you don't call for the same dice, that's what's going to bring the 7, right?
Well, I don't know. If I say, just give me 2 new ones, maybe it's because I know that after they go off the table, it's always a 7 out. I'm trying to change things up. So maybe that's positive.
That could be. Yeah, that could be. Now, the thing is, there are definitely some people out there who hate it. Oh my gosh, you never call for same dice. That's what brings a 7 out.
Well, there are people who have a lot of, you never do that. You never do this. Yeah. No, you never do it.
Right.
I do it all the time, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Maybe we should take a break here, Mike, just to talk about last night again. So as you know, I'm very superstitious at the craps table. I do like to call my bets off when they go off the table or when there's a stick change, something like that. So I was doing that last night. How did I do on that last night, Mike?
You did wonderful. Undefeated, really. I think one time, like a 6 came up and you lost $35. The rest of the time, they were all 7 outs. I lost a boatload and you kept all your money.
The first 6 times, honestly, the first 6 times I called my bets off, it was 7 outs.
You were 6 for 6. And then the 7th time you lost that $35.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm 1 for 7.
That's right. And I did a few more times in like craps was rolled or something. It didn't really matter, right? But yes.
It worked like a charm last night.
So there you go.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid, Mark.
I agree.
I mean, why would a new person handing someone the dice cause a 7 to come up? But it does.
Yep.
It does. It's one of the mysteries of the universe. Is there water on Mars? And why does 7 come up on the stick change? The 2 things that, and why are all ants the same size? Those are the 3 things that drive me crazy.
Well, we talked about that, Mike, right? Their social interaction is much different from humans. Humans, as a species, we're very selfish, whereas the ants... they all work together, right?
But why are they the same size?
Well, why would they be different? Because, if they're...
Nobody ever looks at, that's a fat one.
That's because they're doing the exact same job. That's what they're built for, Mike, is doing the same thing.
Yeah, I agree to disagree with you. I'm going to find out the real reason ants are all the same size.
Of the same species, in the same colony. Because obviously,
in the same colony.
Different kinds of ants.
Not different species.
You're thinking in the same colony.
Right.
All right. That's
I'm going to find that out. I'm going to find out where there's water. And damn it, before I die, I'm going to find out why 7 comes up when the stick changes.
When the stick changes. Yeah. All right.
There's got to be a reason,
Maybe we should get back to Nick's email.
Nothing's random.
All right. Number 3, a shooter blowing/kissing the dice before throwing them or getting their friend or partner next to them to do it before shooting. Sure, people do that all the time. I mean,
now with COVID, you can't do that.
No, please don't.
When I was in Iowa at one of the casinos, they chastised a guy for that.
Sure, right. I mean,
because he said, no, you cannot blow on the dice.
That's the world we live in now.
Right.
But certainly something that is part of the culture of throwing dice, is the blowing on the dice. Number 4, moving the dice in a circular motion once or up to a maximum of 3 times. Tap them on the felt after the circular motions before tossing them for an extra long roll. You used to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Remember? Yeah. Remember I'd pick the dice up and I'd circle one number in the field? That was a special number. I'd circle it 3 times and then throw the dice. It matters, right? And sometimes a 5, it'd be a 9 or, or something, and I'd always make a big deal. There's no 5.
You always put on a good show at the table, Mike.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
I try to.
Number 5, be sure and call out the phrase, baby needs a new pair of shoes, or daddy needs a new pair of shoes, if you want to make your point. Sure, a cliche,
right.
New pair of shoes.
Why is the baby and the dad get shoes?
Well, I think it's
in reality, the moms are the ones with a whole closet full of shoes.
Well, it's because the dad has such a gambling problem.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to buy shoes for the baby.
Oh,
and
I gotcha.
Maybe if he wins
baby
today, then
shoes.
The baby gets new shoes. So it's not that the baby really needs new shoes. It's the baby hasn't been getting any shoes.
I got
because of the dad's gambling
Now that
problem.
we figured out. That was quite easy.
That one we got.
I'll tell you what we should start doing. We should start just yelling out common phrases that you hear people say have nothing to do with craps. Don't throw the baby out with the water.
Right, sure.
Something like that.
Or
some phrase.
The cheese is in the ointment.
The cheese is in the ointment.
Yeah.
That'll really screw people up.
All right. Number 6, where the field pays double in the bubble, place your betting chips in the bubble of the 2 or the 12 to bring on a field number. But they have to be placed exactly in the center of the bubble or it won't work. Yeah, it's the circle that you'll see.
Right.
There's a circle around the 12 and a circle around the 2.
Got to be right in the middle.
Because they pay double or triple depending on the table. Yeah,
sure.
Just
Yeah.
write that.
I think I'm going to go over all these things with the kids on Monday.
Okay.
The 4 and 5-year-olds that I take care of are going to love it.
That's good. I've got a felt you can take with you to take.
In the middle. In the middle.
And then the last one, number 7, appropriately. On a good roll, make sure you hold your winnings in your hand, even if the chips extend all the way up your forearm. Do not place them in your rail under any circumstances until the hand is over. Oh,
Wow.
who does that, Dr. Mike?
Who would do that?
Wow. Every time you do that, I think to please drop them. Please spill them all over
For
the
the
table.
last 40 years, for the last 40 years, you've been hoping that I'll spill them all over the table.
It's happened.
It's happened once.
All right.
And I do drop a few of them on the floor occasionally, but I've never really had a bad incident of that. And I always joke to the dealers, you see how big my hands can get? Keep rolling those dice. You want to see how big my hands can get?
Oh, I'm waiting for that one chip to just kind of go a little askew. So just everywhere.
Right.
Gotta
on a full table, on a big roll. I only do that when I'm really down.
Really?
If I'm down, yeah. Have you ever noticed? I do that. That's my thing when I'm really down. I think
now that you mentioned,
I think I need this roll, and I pick my chips up and I hold them.
Yeah,
because I want to start with 4 or 5 chips that I have left.
Yeah.
and then build that up to a whole handful. And I think sometimes they don't color me up on purpose.
Just so you get more chips.
Yeah,
in there?
I think let's just give him 100 in red.
Right. Very rarely do you stop doing that on a good roll.
No, I never stop.
But I have seen you where it's just too much, right?
Yeah,
where it's such a good roll.
It's such a good roll. Well, sometimes I have to set them down.
Yeah.
But I try and pick the appropriate amount up to keep the good luck going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll detail that in a email to you.
Oh, to me.
Yeah, to
all right.
you.
And then maybe I'll pass it along to the listeners.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Nick, for those positive superstitions. Love that list. And
actually, they're fun, aren't they?
Well, yes, that's why we were talking about it. It's part of the fun of the gambling.
Yeah,
for me, anyway,
you get a kick out of chastising me from spilling, just hoping I'm going to screw the whole table up.
Yeah.
And, it's fun for everybody.
That's right. I pretend that I'm angry with you, but I really want you to do something terrible to embarrass yourself and me. So.
Well, that never will happen. When does that ever happen?
It happens every day, Dr. Mike, even with you in Minnesota.
Yep.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to voicemails. We only have a couple of them this episode, but the first one is from our friend Marty.
We only have 2 because people were in shock after the tournament.
Why were they in shock?
Shock. I didn't win.
Oh, yeah.
It's just for days people just
are in mourning.
That. Yeah, people were in mourning, and ants, they figured, why are all the ants the same size?
Yeah.
It stumped them.
Gotcha.
Mark and Dr. Mike, hey, it's Marty from Reno. Just giving you an update on the new Legends Bay Casino grand opening here in Reno last week. Opened up on Tuesday night. It's now been open for the first weekend. A nice place, about 600 or 700 slot machines, 10 table games, 1 dice table, 1 roulette table, 3-2 blackjack dealt from a 6-deck shoe, about 5 tables of that, some carnival games. I think they have 3-card poker, Pai-Gow, a few others. Most of them are limits of $10 to $500. I think they're just kind of trying to hold the big play down for the first weekend. But a nice place, really nice place. Good steakhouse. We had a steakhouse last night. They've also got a 24-hour kind of a coffee shop, which is still not fully staffed. And then what they call a truck stop, which effectively is a food court where the vending stations all look like trucks, like food trucks. Kind of cool. They've also got a little stage back there. They have live music on Friday and Saturday night. Big fireworks every Friday night through the rest of this fall. So pretty good. The dice table, 3, 4, 5 times odds. No bonus bets at all. No fire bet. No all tall small. Pretty typical game. The strange thing about the dice table is that it's not a tub. It's a full-size table, but it's only built for about 6 guys on an end. So it's a little bit smaller than what you see at a typical table. But again, dealers are all really good. Most of the dealers, I knew a lot of them from some of the other places here in town, so they've done a lot of recruiting from some of the other places. It's pretty good. I would say that their Players Club, it's huge lines to get into the Players Club. A little secret for somebody, if you want to get the Players Club, not wait in line, when you buy in on the dice table, again, with a moderate buy-in there, just ask to talk to a host, and they'll come over and make you a card. You don't have to wait in line. They are doing matching, so in my case is, I'm 7 stars, so I showed them my 7 stars card. They immediately made me their black tier, which is their highest end tier. So I took really good care of you. The only downside here, and again, I talked to my host, who I just met last night. She said they have not yet come up with a way to do casino credit. So again, it's a cash-only place, at least for right now. I think they are doing, free check cashing for people if you want to do that. But again, no casino credit as of yet. They're expecting that within the next month. But other than that, I think it's a pretty great place. Like a couple of hotels that they built. They're just off property, but literally across the parking lot, which they can book you free comp rooms if you're in from out of town. So anyway, guys, the Sparks, Nevada, first new casino in the Reno Sparks area in 20 years. Legends Bay, right by the Legends Mall. Got kind of a cool location, and they've got a deal set up with their comp system because they are part of the mall, where you can actually use your comps at the Shield Sporting Goods store or at the IMAX Theater, which are also right there. So it's kind of a nice niche for them in this market. So love the show, guys. Talk to you soon. Dr. Mike, if you get back out here, I know you got family in
Oh, he got cut off there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got family.
Oh,
in
my
Sparks
brother-in-law
right
and
now.
sister-in-law live half the year in Sparks.
Yeah.
I told them about Marty because they go and eat dinner and they play some 3-card poker quite a bit in the casinos in that area. They asked for his last name. I told them his last name. But so, Marty, if you get a guy named Mike and a lady named Sandy who are about my age, a little older, they come up. They're my relatives.
Okay, that's what it is.
I told them to look for Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, why did you guys tell me they're building a casino? It's not very far from their house. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we should have mentioned that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice.
Yeah, it is kind of exciting, right?
Yeah,
In the Reno area,
right.
finally a new place.
place.
Yeah. All right, one more call. Let's hear from Nick.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick calling from Denver, Colorado. First-time caller, recently discovered your show and have been binging all of the back episodes and really enjoy what you guys do. Calling about a recent trip report that I had in Black Hawk. Some ups, some downs, not anything too exciting, but it was a great trip. Had a lot of fun with some friends and met, new friends at the craps table. Pretty much broke even for the entire trip. We were there for around 4.5 hours. Most of that was craps, a little bit of video poker. And as we were all standing around the craps table, one of the conversations came up, what are your favorite calls? What are your favorite numbers? And so I know you guys have talked about your favorite calls on some of the past episodes, but I was wondering if either of you or both of you have a favorite number. Personally, I am partial to hard 4. Anytime the point is 4, I always put $5 to $50 down on the hard 4, depending on, how the table is going, how I'm doing for that session. All of those things is got to be my favorite number for sure. And then a little later, towards the end of the trip, we all sort of wandered over to some video poker machines and was able to find some good 9 to 6 jacks or better. I had something really interesting that happened to me on my machine, and we're betting $5 a hand, and I get dealt a natural ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds, and then the fifth card that I'm dealt is a 7 of diamonds. So obviously, I've got my flush already, so I'm happy about that. Obviously, the Royal pays $4,000. I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I just decided I was going to go for it. Discarded the 7, and of course, I didn't hit it. 4 of diamonds actually came up, so I ended up keeping my flush, which was nice. I wanted to know what you would do. I assume you would both go for the Royal in that situation and get rid of the guaranteed win, but was curious to hear your thoughts on that. And then finally, I was wondering if you have heard of a game called Deuces. We had some friends over the other night, and they taught us this new game. The object is to be the first one to get rid of all of your cards, and then it's a point-taking game. So however many cards your opponents are left holding at the end of the game combined, you get that many points. So 1 point per card. Of course, we're gambling on it, so for higher stakes, you might bet $1 or $5 a card. For us, we're a little bit low rollers. No one wanted to get hurt. We were playing 50 cents a card. Thank you guys so much for all you do. Even though I'm a short-time listener and that I just started binging these back episodes, you just bring a lot of enjoyment to my day, and keep doing what you guys are doing. I think you're amazing. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So Nick actually called back with a more detailed explanation of this game, Deuces.
Uh-huh.
I chose not to play the call, and I'm not going to explain the game either because I think it's just too difficult a game to explain on an audio podcast.
It's one of those you have to see.
You really have to see. You have to see some different examples. But if you want to check it out, it's most well known as Big Two or Big Deuce. So do a search for that online. Big Two card game.
Big Deuce sounds like me.
Big Deuce, that's right. The reason it's called that is because deuces are the highest ranked cards in this game.
In this game.
And again, Mike, it's too difficult to explain, but once you learn it,
It's fun.
It's fun and it's simple.
Yeah.
It's like, I see.
Yeah.
But it's just the initial explanation is a
Like
little
most things in life, hard to explain, but when you learn it, it's okay.
Once you start playing it. And it's great. You can play it 4 people, you deal out all the cards, and then you play from there. It is kind of a fun game and popular. I want to say it originated in China, but the popularity is kind of spread. So, yeah, do a check on that. Yeah, Nick, as far as your Royal Flush Draw goes,
it's an easy call.
Every day of the week, we're going to get rid of that fifth card.
Well, there's a big difference in payouts.
It's so big that it is the right move.
Now, if you had like a pair of jacks or a possible straight, you obviously keep the pair of jacks.
Oh, even if you have a flush draw. That's not a straight flush draw.
Yeah, you go for that because it's the automatic win, and the difference is not great.
Right.
Well, you can actually draw, 4 jacks or something, right?
That's true.
But yeah, with the Royal Flush, you got to go for it every time. Still has never happened to you or I.
No. And, like in Nick's case, too, there is also the chance that if you don't get the Royal, you'll get another card of that suit, and you'll still end up with a flush.
Chance, right? You still have a good chance.
Yeah. Or you could even draw one of your high cards. You could get a straight, or you could draw, to get your money back. So that's why it really makes sense to, get rid of that 5th card.
Right.
Yeah, and every once in a while you're going to get a brick and you won't get anything, but it's definitely worth the try. Yep.
Well, I'm not going to get my first Royal until I can get my second Royal on the very next hand.
Oh,
I want 2 in a row.
Get back-to-back Royals?
Back-to-back Royals, and I just want to slap it in Taylor's face.
Yeah,
say, look at this,
That'd
Taylor.
be the first person I'd call.
Yeah, back-to-back Royals.
You ever gotten back-to-back?
Some night when you're sleeping at 3 a.m., Taylor, and the phone rings, don't think it's anything bad. It's just me calling to tell you I got back-to-back Royals.
Right?
Yeah.
It's either a family member with an emergency or it's Dr. Mike to tell me about the back-to-back. I don't think he hit a Royal on this last trip he went on.
No.
That was
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. That's amazing. I'm surprised he didn't ask for a refund or something. That's ridiculous.
Have you got a favorite number, Mike? At least when it comes to gambling or
to
craps
gambling?
Yeah.
I kind of always like 8 and hard 8. Is,
hard 8. Yeah,
hard 8.
A lot of
good.
people hard 8's their favorite.
Yeah.
I like 6, just the number 6.
Yeah,
it's always kind of been my favorite number.
Yeah, it's the biggest number.
That's what we joked for years. What's bigger than 6?
Nothing.
Nothing is bigger than 6. Makes no sense.
My daughters, we argue over and over about that. They said, "Dad, 8, because if you turn it on its side, it's infinity. That's the biggest number." I say, "No, it's a 6." And when I had one of my surgeries, I was on the 6th floor. And when you got off the elevator, they had this huge 6 on the wall to tell you.
So that was the biggest
huge
number.
6. And I said, don't even go to the other floors. Look how big that 6 is.
How about a favorite call? Do you have a favorite call at the dice table? We've talked about some before, but.
Yeah. My favorite call is when any number comes up and all the dealers go, like that, just like that.
That's your favorite call.
On Thursday, they were doing that for
How did
everything.
that start?
It was a good roll, right?
Okay.
And somebody would roll like a 4, and we'd already hit 2 4s or something. And all the dealers, not the players,
right?
I just love that.
So that's your favorite call.
I love for them to do that. And then about 10 seconds later, when it's quiet and they're paying out, I yell.
Yeah, right. If nothing's happened,
I just yell.
Dr. Mike loves the attention.
That's my favorite thing.
You know what call I like, and you don't hear it very often. I'll give you an example. Let's say the point is 9 and 8 is rolled.
Right.
And they say, 8, that's beside the point.
Yeah, that's beside.
I love that. That's
that
one of
is
my
a
favorites.
good call.
Yeah.
I do like that. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
There are so many calls on a craps table. And when you get a stick person who's using them all, this whole repertoire, it is really fun.
Oh, yeah.
And you get somebody boring is, 5. It's a 5.
We have some dealers who are very good, but their calls are the same every time.
Yeah.
Center field, it's just every time it's the same one. So, if they get clever, that's what's fun. All right. Veterans Day. We are planning on meeting in Iowa, basically close to you.
Right. November 11th. It's a Friday.
That's Veterans Day. Yep. Any updates on that, Dr. Mike?
Okay. So this is what I have so far.
Okay.
And it's always subject to change.
Yeah.
But as it is right now, I think we're going to meet at Diamond Joe Worth Casino.
Yep.
just across the border in Iowa. If you fly to Minneapolis, you go right down 35.
Okay.
As soon as you cross the border, it's like a mile, literally just very close.
Yeah.
And you get off and there's the casino.
And you and I had looked at maybe going to other casinos, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're just not that close. They're, at least an hour and a half drive.
Right. So that's a 3-hour round trip.
Yeah, right. Why spend that much time?
Yeah, we only got the weekend.
So, we'll just get together and that'll be where we stay is Diamond Joe Worth. Yeah. All right. So that'll be it. And we'll be
stay there. They have 2 hotels. They have one that's connected but not affiliated with the casino.
Okay.
And they have another one across the street, like a Holiday Inn or something.
Okay, all right.
So you can make reservations. The casino will comp rooms.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So they're able to, okay.
Yeah, if you play, they'll comp your rooms.
Okay.
They just pay the hotel, basically, for your
yeah.
room.
Yeah.
And they have some good food there. And I was thinking maybe on Saturday night, having a little dinner there.
Okay.
At whatever. It may not be fancy.
Right.
But just all get together and have dinner.
All right.
Yeah, they have 2 craps tables, and they have quite a few table games, lots of slots.
Okay.
Very friendly, very clean, very nice. Sports betting.
Yeah, good.
So, for Saturday, God, you can make tons of sports bets on the college football and stuff.
Okay, good. So this is an open invitation to anybody who wants to join us. Chris and Josh from the Crap Vegas podcast are going to be there.
We'll be there.
That's the plan right now. So, Friday through Sunday, that weekend, starting November 11th, which is Veterans Day.
Right.
So,
And they were talking recently on Crap Vegas about, how much they enjoy the side bets, and especially like the all tall, all small, which they do have there. But the limit's only $5.
The maximum you can put out is $5.
Yeah,
okay,
the maximum limit.
It's something anyway.
Yeah, it's not that exciting when you hit it because it's $5 on each one. But it's just fun to keep track of it and try and shoot for it and stuff. They do have 10 times odds.
So as far as a regular craps game goes, you can get a lot of money out there.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Okay.
And I think the $600 max bet. So you can put $600 with 6,000 odds.
Oh, okay.
So if you want action,
more than that,
you can get action there.
Yeah.
So you're going to be there Thursday night.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this more on upcoming episodes, but that is the plan right now.
Right.
So I would say if people want to start making arrangements, go ahead and do that because I'm going to be making my flight arrangements this week.
Right.
So,
oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how many people get Veterans Day off, but they might be busier than normal. I think they're thinking, when I talk to the host there, they're thinking that it's going to be a little busy.
Okay.
So, which is good because, I like to see a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Well, Mike, this Wednesday, September 21st, this is hard to believe, is the 10th anniversary of our very first episode. 10 years we've been doing this.
Who would have thought?
Nobody would have thought. Now, you kind of alluded to it. People didn't know, but when we first started recording, our friend Paul was here.
He was here,
just kind of visiting.
Yeah.
He sat in for
he's
the first
visiting
part
me
because
I'm in town, and then he's coming over for dinner.
And he's one of those guys that thought, oh, come on, that'll be enjoy
Paul
that. Paul
actually said that'll last about 2 or 3 episodes, and then they're done.
And here we are 10 years later. You know, when you think about it, it's probably the same with you, Mike. I think of how old my kids were 10 years ago.
Well, look at mine.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
They were bouncing a little ball on the sidewalk.
That's right. 9512H.
Yeah.
So
they asked me recently, is Mark ever going to take that off or anything? And I said, no.
I don't think so. No.
What could be better?
It's an integral part of the show.
Yeah, it's an integral part.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, it's been such a pleasure doing this show with you. This has become a huge part of my life. I mean, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Not just doing the show, but the people that we've met and everything.
We've met, oh my God, so many people, Mark.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many people we know.
Yeah, it's just been great. Yeah. Now, I kind of joke about how I basically do all the work as far as the show goes, right?
Well, you do. It's not a joke.
Yeah, well, but what I'm trying to say is, I me, I kind of a control freak, so I enjoy doing it. It's not like I'm thinking. The only thing that you said that you really wanted to contribute in a way, other than showing up and being funny and what have you, was you said, Mark, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be in charge of the merchandise, the T-shirts, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And here we are 10 years later, Mike.
We have none.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, nothing.
At the time when I said that, what did you expect?
Oh, yeah. It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
I just want to let the people know, all right?
Hey, I'm going to start working on that.
Are you?
Yeah. I wanted to see if it would last. In 10 years, that's a pretty good mark.
Okay, so it's here to stay. So now you think
so for the next 30 years, Mark, we're going to have merchandise. The next 30 years, it's coming.
Okay,
I actually know a lady who does printing in Minnesota.
Don't even tell me. All right, just tell me when it's available. Right, I don't want to hear any promises.
You know what I love about this, Mark?
What's that?
My favorite thing about this is that you and I get together.
Yeah.
But my second favorite thing is that we met so many people. It really is a pleasure.
Going back to that,
and I can honestly say, I haven't really met anybody that I just like, oh God.
It's a great community.
Yeah. I mean, everyone I've pretty much liked, right?
Yeah.
At the school I work at now, the secretary, who's a young lady, very nice, we were eating lunch one day and she asked, something, and roundabout way, we started talking about casino, and I said, I host this podcast with my friend of mine. She went home and listened to a bunch of episodes, and she loved it.
Oh, great.
And it's funny, I was just thinking, now who would have thought this? I don't know her age, but she's in her 20s.
Yeah, it's not the kind of person that you would socialize with. You're at work and you're having lunch, but yeah.
Yeah, and then the other day she makes a comment about our last episode about me wanting a time machine. So that's the kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, I get such a big kick out of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling her, well, hey, you and your fiance, we need to go down to one of the casinos. I'll teach you all about craps.
Yeah.
But it transcends age.
Yeah.
It transcends everything, right? I mean, just as long as you're
you got the same
fun.
interest and
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's a joy. And as we get older too, this is something we can do forever.
Right. Yeah, that's right. When you retire, right?
I can talk forever.
You can sit in front of a mic and talk. We might have to get you a more comfortable chair, but yeah.
Or a wheelchair.
Yeah. Or wheelchair work too.
But me, I can talk to anybody. I mean,
you can talk forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really shy.
No, you're not. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Kurt, Robin from NE Time Gambling, Nathan, and Brian Dancer. Thank you again for those donations. And also the donation that we got from Tex Clone, whose name is Brad. He said, you guys put on a great podcast and have given me hours of mental relief while I sit in traffic to and from work. Thank you for what you do for the community and for putting on a great poker tournament. Well, thank you very much, Brad. And we're going to do another one in March.
Yep,
so,
coming up.
Get ready for that.
Get ready for the big tournament.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. All right. What do you got, Dr. Mike?
Well, I got a couple things to say, Mark.
Sure you do.
At least 3 or 4.
All right.
One thing I realized, and it's funny, at 62, almost 63 years old, I finally realized that if you do something you really love, life is so much more enjoyable. I've done a lot of things that I like.
Yeah.
But, it's not like my passion.
Right.
But then when you find something you really like, it really is enjoyable. And I was thinking the other day about times when over the last 40 years, when we went to a casino or somewhere and you were a little on edge about something.
Okay.
Right. A personal matter.
Yeah, that's my personality.
Matter.
Sure.
Yeah, that's your personality. And going to the casino would be something like, you're not in a good mood and you're complaining about the traffic and this and that and everything. And then after spending a night playing craps and being stupid and silly and everything, we're coming home and it's like a whole nother person.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
It's like a whole nother person. The ride home, win or lose, are always hilarious.
That's true. We might not be in a good mood, but they are always funny.
They always are funny. I mean, it's either me complaining about the city we're driving through for no apparent reason, telling you how stupid this city is. When I don't live there, I know nothing about it. Or just stupid talk. It's basically stupid talk. Yeah, we've mastered that.
I think people listening will agree.
Yeah, right. And the other thing I was thinking about is, what the hell's going on with sports?
Oh, what, you got kind of slammed on that first NFL week? That was a rough week.
That was a rough week. I did fine in college football the first week.
Yeah.
Even though it was rough.
You did okay. It's not like you blew it away.
No,
but
right. It wasn't a loser.
Yeah.
And then today I'm doing terrible.
You're having a rough day. We're recording this on college football Saturday. So
yeah, and I'm hoping towards the end of the day it improves. Maybe I'll, break. I'm only a couple games down.
No, it's not awful, but yeah, it has been a little rough for you.
But maybe the end will be better. And then baseball. I was talking with Paul as we were walking in here. Why do they have to blow it every year at the end?
It's because that's what they do, Mike. We're used to it, all right?
That's what they do.
People
like us, the reason we do this is because that's what we do.
Listeners don't need to hear this anymore. We've gone on ad nauseum about the Padres.
They need to feel my pain, Mark. They need to feel my pain. They're going to blow it again,
I'm not worrying about it, all right? I'm just looking towards the future, the next 30 years of doing this podcast.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Next 30 minutes. That's how far I'm booked out. I'm booked out for the next 30 minutes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.
El Cajon? That's the anus of San Diego.